Hi all. Right, back with any match in Kharkov, Soviet solo, but we've had our first real blunder that's been spotted. Martin just made a comment on part 2 as well, and this is the point, this is the bad thing about rushing ahead, but I guess I want to play the game. Now, I've actually been thinking long and hard about going back and scrapping my last couple of turns, couple of impulses, and I was actually going to do it. I was in the process of starting to dismantle things and put it back, and then in the end I just thought, well, let's just leave it, let's point out the error that was made and just move on, because jumping into this game without a real playthrough first, Right, okay, geez, 56 seconds. I swear, as soon as I touch the record button, somebody calls on me or something happens. And right, okay, so a mistake's been made. Martin's pointed it out. I'm waiting for him to get back to me though, because I think he's got it slightly mixed about, but it's difficult to challenge what Martin says. He's usually spot on. However, I'll show you the situation in a minute. Although things have moved about, so how I can describe this or no. And like I say, I did think about restarting it all, but I've actually put 2 more parts together, and that is the problem. Like I said, we're rushing ahead, but I want to play the game, and I've just got the game, so I clearly want to play it. And maybe that's another reason why you probably shouldn't start recording your first playthrough, because you want to do that. But as long as I point out the mistakes, I suppose, and it might well be that I'll make more of these as well, and then we can just put that down to a learning game. As long as I point them out though, so anybody watching the videos is aware of it. I don't want to just move on and no say nothing about it and leave you thinking, oh right, that's how that works, when it's not how it works. So like I say, there's a good chance this video won't go. There's a good possibility it might not even go too long. Well, as in right through the game, because I might well fail at the victory point checks. So yeah, decided to leave it. I was humming and hawing and I don't know. I don't. These things don't fit with me very well when mistakes are out there. As you know, I want to get it all right. I know I can't get everything right, but I could have rewound that. I suppose if I just uploaded that video, let some people see it, let Martin make his comment. I've not moved on yet. I could then adjust it right now, and then move on. And that's. But like I say, I want to play the game, so that's where we're at. So I'm going to leave it because I've just put too much more into it. Now, okay, so what was the problem? And it's really annoying me because I actually talk about it. I actually talk about the fact it's when we had the event. Let's see, it was one of the third core cards. I mean, it was only. I mean, the Germans have played 2 cards since. No, they haven't. Have they? Hang on. What am I waiting for here? Yeah, no, they've only played 1 card since. So I mean, it wasn't that long ago, but I put 2 episodes. Is that right? Am I getting muddled up here? No, it was further back, yeah, because it was the 4th Panzer Army card. It was this card here. And it was the event strategic relocation, and it's the first time we had dealt with that. So yeah, that was about 4 cards ago. It is a wee bit further back, so I would have had to wipe out 2 videos. Yeah, I mean, I seriously did think about it because I thought I want to get it right, but so anyway, strategic relocation. Where it's here, Grant. You had the page. It's in the parade. So, in ascending order, 1 unit at a time, select and relocate up to 3 different German units. Each must be in dangerous ground, able to trace supply, and not in a city hex or map edge VP hex. So, and then we relocate the unit to an occupied position, and then there's a few conditions. And if you remember, it ended up being this unit relocated, strangely, just relocated from here to here, I think it was. Yeah, because it goes to a position hex. And then this is where we had the query about the Rouse units. This one relocated to the town, the city up there. And was it? Yeah, it was this guy, he relocated to here. And this is where the error happened. These two should not have relocated. And for me to try and fix that, I had a look. It's too. Yeah, it's just going to be a mess. Because this guy was down in, where was he, 1203. He was down here, maybe not a problem, I could have probably put him back. This guy, however, was down in here, and he would have had some influence on the attack that we made on this unit in here. He certainly would have retreated this way. However, he had the defender adjacent. Pretty sure there was a defender adjacent chit came up. So as you can see, well, maybe, because would I have still made the attack? I probably still would have made the attack. Could I do it? The thing is, since then, these guys have moved. It should have been all these three units that relocated. Martin says that this guy was in dangerous surround as well. He was down, what is that on his thing? 0. Oh, they're really small, honestly. I've got my magnifying glass here. My mother gave me a magnifying glass. 0604. So he was in here. Yeah, that's where he's moved from, actually. Yeah, because I'm not sure why he moved. He moved up outside the barrage zone, maybe. So he was here, but Martin was saying that he was in danger of surround. However, it does look like he would have been, but this was the first guy to relocate, and he moved from here to here. And while he was here and he was here, I don't see this guy being in danger of surround. That's why I've asked Martin to come back and just elaborate on how he's came to that conclusion. And okay, it does look like these guys could come, but remember, this guy wasn't here either, because he was in 0404. So that's how they were sitting. I'm going to forget where they were now. And what I think should have happened is, this guy should have relocated first, but as soon as he's then relocated, this guy becomes in dangerous surround, and it goes on selector number. And if you remember the other selectors of the Rouse unit, well, this guy's 4 and this guy's 6. So after I moved that guy, which was the lowest selector number that it could relocate, into a safe spot, this guy now becomes in dangerous surround, because this guy can move into here, and one of these guys can go out and in. Yeah, and surround this guy. And he's selector number 2. So he would then relocate next to wherever it was he went. I'm just going to put him back up there while I remember that's where he's is at the moment. And then one. Right, okay, sorry. Yeah, more interruptions. Oh, I don't know. It's totally. I don't know where I was at now again. So, well, I think I was saying that this guy relocated to here, then leaving this guy in dangerous surround, which would have relocated. Yeah, I think that's what I was saying. Would he have relocated to this city? Because that's where that guy went. So possibly. And then with him moving, this guy now becomes in dangerous surround. Remember, this garrison wasn't here. So this guy then becomes in dangerous surround. And then he would have been the third unit to relocate. So these two Rouse units would still be back where they were, and these guys would be elsewhere. But the problem is, I've not had an activation for the Rouse units, but I had that combat down here, so that'll cause some trouble in fixing. And then we would have to relocate these 58 core units, and then they just had an activation, the last impulse, so we'd have to go back and redo that, which I could do. But in between there, I've also moved my third tank units up, and we had this attack. I suppose, is it repairable? Maybe is. Right, I better move this guy back just before I forget. He was in the town there, wasn't he? I mean, I don't feel like the mistakes harmed the Germans. Well, maybe it has. Maybe moving these 2 Rouse units away from where they were down there wasn't necessary. I don't know. It's difficult to say who it's benefited by not doing it properly, but the thing is, it wasn't done properly. And that's the thing I was most annoyed about, because I even comment on the video when I'm looking back over it, and then I'm reading it, and it specifically says, complete the selection and relocation of 1 unit, then select the next unit based on the revised map situation. And I actually talk about that, because I actually say, oh right, so I should have looked, once this guy's relocated, and then I look at all the other units I've got marked for relocation. I shouldn't have been looking at that, because I put wee cubes on the ones that were going to relocate, but that's not necessarily the ones. I should have just concentrated on the first one, the lowest selector number that was able to relocate. Then after doing that, then look at the map again and decide what is the next one in ascending order. Then I would have found out it was selector number 2. And then same again, then I would have found that the third unit was selector number 1. And like I say, I kind of talk about it, but don't do it. Because I've kind of got my mindset on these are the units to relocate, and that was wrong. Right, I'm gonna have a couple of minutes and maybe think about this, and maybe think if I could just rewind it. We didn't have any more attacks. The only attack that was down here. I mean the other since the card was played, we had. Well, I've got 4 cards since that card was played. But I think, this one was used for the combat tactic of engineers when we attacked. Was it the unit down there? Because I think we only had that one attack since. Is it? I remember I'm getting an engineers on something. I'd need to look back to be doubly sure. And then we got 2 activations of 3rd Corps. That's the KG card that we got, which done something around here, didn't it? It moved that guy out, and then we got the follow-up impulse for the Germans was actually the 3rd Corps card again, the actual one that activates all units. Yeah, whereas this one that was first activates unit with and a 2 hex radius, blah blah blah. Although I think that did grab them all, didn't it? And then we got the activation from them, but they would have acted differently. So that's if I did try and fix it, this combat would result a slight difference down here with this combat. Probably end up me still taking 3 hats, because I wouldn't redo the combat. I'd just look at the chits that I drew, and I think there would have been a defender adjacent. Hang on though, is that Popov unit? Oh, he deploys there. Just wonder if he's... No, none of them have moved yet, have they? No, so that's what I was thinking about. My next move might have been, wasn't it? Like, to move them. And I didn't do that, actually. Yeah, I moved the 3rd Tank Army units. So I suppose I could go back and... Cause these might be in a different place then. Yeah, it's a bit of a mess, isn't it? Right, I'm going to have a wee think about it and see if it's worthy of fixing. I probably should just let it go, and I pointed out the error, and okay. I just actually started recording another I got about 7 or 8 minutes into the recording, and I've now since deleted it. Because I was going to try and make a fix to this error after all. It just wasn't sitting very well with me. And I thought I could adjust things. I don't want to delete the last 2 videos I've recorded and redo them. So I thought I could fix it. However, the stumbling block for me turns out to have been these units had actually moved into this position, and this Rouse unit was it's not that guy. It was the other one. One of these Rouse units that relocated wrongly was in here, and these units were all in here, and they've moved into this position. Well, they wouldn't have been able to move with that Rouse unit there. So that just caused too much trouble to try and fix. Well, I wouldn't have been able to do this. I wouldn't have been able to make that attack. So I decided to hit on the head and just going to have to accept this error. Like I say, first playthrough. Who knows, I might even get so far in, and if another couple of errors do come into it, maybe sort of scratch it as a sort of practice session and restart again. I'm certainly up for playing the game, that's for sure. That's why I suppose I rushed ahead, and don't want to leave the time to wait and see somebody to point out my errors. So okay, let's leave it, Grant. Right, it's done. It's all done. Right, so it is our impulse now, and you can see that was the last activation we had, was the 3rd Tank Army. Now, I think before I'd found out the problem, I had made my mind up that I was going to activate the mobile group pop-off, but with this card, I think this is that. This is what I decided to do. At first I thought I'd maybe use the one that just does the 2, because I've got that in my hand as well, the one that does the 2 stacks. And maybe just activate these 2 stacks. I was thinking about putting units on these, so that then once I use that southwest front card, we can get the benefit of them. Don't know if we're going to do anything though, so we need to get a better position around this city. But I mean, this is 7 strength in the city, 4 steps. But it is possible I could get all my pop-off units round about it. As for getting it surrounded, we need to take care of this guy first. So can we have a go at this guy, maybe in this impulse, position these 2 guys, something like that. So if I'd used just the 2 stacks, I wouldn't been able to do enough with that. So right, so I'm going to do that, and I'm going to activate all units in mobile group pop-off. Yeah, so the major problem here is we can't really get any more in to attack this guy, can we? Because we cannot move into this hex. No. This guy is actually surrounded. So we need to do something about that. And the best way around that is to try and get this guy out. And bear in mind, he's in a 1 victory point town as well. Got this garrison here too. So what's the plan then, Grant? Well, let's see if this is a clever idea or not. It does mean I'm taking 2 units away from things. These are 3-step units as well. Could they get into the battle up here though? This is broken hex actually. That cost them 2 for mechanized anyway, isn't it? Broken? Yeah. So the infantry would be 1, 2, 3. Yeah, so even the infantry can't get up. Well, what's the mechanized is 6, so that would be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, both of them can't get up. Maybe that wasn't a clever place to put them. I think we were a bit restricted though with the fact this Rouse unit was here, wasn't it? Yeah, I think we wanted to put them in here, but we couldn't. Okay, well, I suppose it maybe makes sense. It does mean that these are going to be out of the game though. The if I move that into there and that into there, they were crossing. That's crossing Donets River into woods. So that would be 5 movement, but he's got 6, and that would be into broken for him, which is only 1 plus the 2, plus a 1 for crossing the river. That's only 2. So I'm just maybe putting them there temporarily though. I'm wondering if it's a good idea. So these guys are all mechanized, so they can go 3-6, admittedly. And this guy could come to the side here. And Popov could join him. Sorry, this one, number 3. Well, selector number 1. I'm looking up the top here. I think I'm going to stick with the selector numbers on when I'm talking about them, because some of the numbers that they've got, they're awful. Some of them are a bit long-winded and got letters and symbols and whatever. So if we went, if I move him out and in, and then move these 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. They've all got 6 movement, haven't they? Yeah. And then move this guy. He's breaking zone of control here, so 1, 2, and then it's 1 across the minor river and another 1 in there, so it'd be 1, 2, 3, 4, and join this guy in there. Then we'd have a really strong attack against that guy. I can't get an attack against anything else. Well, suppose we could, but I feel like that's sort of distracting us from what we should be doing. I know that's 3-1 him attacking, but it's only 1, 2 chip pools. Well, 1 for the artillery, 3 chip pools. I think he would probably have to leave something else behind. Probably the 4, so that would give 10. That would give 5-1 with 1, 2, 3, 4 chip pools. That's not too bad. So if we did that, if we left the 4 behind and took the 8 with us, he moves into here. So we've got 8, 12, 16 against 3. Now that attack's coming across the Donets River, but it's got to be them all, isn't it? As long as we've got something that's not. Yeah, if all units attack across Donets, defender hits are reduced by 1, so that would still give us our full strength, because we'd be attacking from this hex and this hex as well. So what did I say? Hang on, that guy was going to be staying behind to maybe help the other guy. So that's 7, 11, 15. No, I've got that wrong, haven't I? It was this guy who was staying behind. So that's 8, 12, 16 against 3. So 5-1 odds, and it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 chip pools. And one of the things Martin mentioned, said I wouldn't worry too much about trying to get large attacks. And yeah, I remember watching the playthrough, Dave's playthrough of it, and the large attack chits aren't as pleasant as they used to be in Ardennes. A lot of them seem to give. I mean, you still get a D1 result, I think, yeah. So you end up quite a few of them. It looks like they were getting an A1, D1 result. So they weren't they were much better in Ardennes. Similar to, like I already noticed when we had that attack when the clear hex, and I was thinking, oh, it's a clear hex, that's good, and it was A1 result, and I was like, A? So slight differences there with the results. So yeah, I think I was counting the chip pools there, wasn't I? So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, be one for the artillery. Yeah, because he's just inside the zone. That's not bad then, eh? And that would give us another attack here of 10. 5-1 with 4 chip pools. It does mean these guys are back here. So, but as long as these guys can then make the move on this guy the next time that they activate. Ooh, now there's a... Yeah, because we've got the one to activate 2 stacks. Yeah. Yeah, okay, I think I'm going to do this. So I think he's going to move... Oh, wait now. Are we not better moving in here, Grant, rather than having a 1 hex attack? This means he's moving further back as well. Can I not go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5? I can. One, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah. So these 2 guys will attack here. And then this guy's going to break zone of control. So 1, 2, and then 3. He's infantry crossing the minor river, so it's no extra. And then he would have to stop. Well, he's moving adjacent to the unit as well, so yeah. And then also the good thing about that is that that garrison will get removed next time we activate the pop-off units, although that would mean I would have to activate that guy, yeah. Well, here's a thought then. Why not... Oops. Right. Move this guy 3, 6. Yep. Ah, that's why I wanted that stacked together though, didn't I? Yeah, here's me saying don't take the 1 hex attack, but I want them to be stacked together so that I mean, obviously it can't be my next impulse because they would be the army that was activated. But next again, I can then play this and get the activation of 2 stacks. So I want to kind of prepare for that. So that would be one of my stacks. And then I was thinking, if this was my other stack, then that garrison would fall away. Mind you, a bit of luck, we're going to knock this guy out of here and be able to advance. So can I get that guy into here then? So that's 3, 4, and then 1 across the river, 1 at the clear hex is 6. And then we'll take a chance with the 1 hex attack here. And then the 2 stacks will activate next turn. Well, not next chance I get will be this one and this one. And then that will get this one hopefully moving up. Yeah, we're probably not going to be able to make the attack on that though, are we? We're going to have to wait on that southwest front thing. There's a lot of things to think about, isn't there? I like the way they've got that though, with the cards that just activate 2 unit stacks. It makes you think, yeah, I know there was some of that in Ardennes, but there seems to be a lot more of it, and it seems to be you've got 1 card. Well, I think that's the second one of them we've had, hasn't it? Did I not say that already? Right, going to go with that. Yeah, let's give that a go. So these guys are not going to attack. They're just going to move into that position. Just waiting for hopefully the possible chance of, could be maybe, how many cards we got left actually? Ooh, there's only 3 cards left in the draw pile. I'd like to have a go at this. crazy as it might sound, before the end of the turn. But I'd need everything in there, you know, and that also means we need to knock this guy back as well. And he's got an IP. So. Right, okay. Attacks. Well, let's just do this one first. So this guy's going to join in, and we're going to attack here. Unfortunately, only from one hex. So we'll see if that one bites us. So it's 10 against 2. So 5 to 1 odds seems to be the norm at the moment. 5 to 1 odds. And then chip pools. We are 1 for the bottom unit, 2 for the top unit is 3, and then 1 for the artillery barrage is 4. So 4 chip pools. So, and it's going to be a minimum of 1 chip draw. Yeah, and we have him. We do have him surrounded as well. It keeps throwing me this dispersed, because that was definitely not. At least that's my thinking, was that it would mean that this guy could retreat in here. That this guy didn't exert zone of control in the previous game. Just checking combat. So yeah, hex not in enemy zone of control, but this is in an enemy zone of control for this guy. It feels weird. I keep wanting to look at it and say, oh right, I missed that. It doesn't exert a zone of control, but it certainly doesn't say it doesn't in the description of dispersal. So hopefully it's not been missed out of the rule book. I guess I've just thought it was worthy of a change. Okay, well, we're going to draw for German combat tactic. So let's see what we get. Ooh, well, I'll tell you what, that's our second SS Panzer Corps card, which would, yeah, it would definitely have been bringing in the reserves. So, Remnant, turns 1 to 2, Remnant, defense only, right? I've no idea what that does. So, let's see. Remnants. Defender only. After resolving the combat, place a garrison marker in the lowest numbered empty position hex within 3 hexes of the attacked hex, not adjacent to a Soviet unit and to which German reserve supply can be traced. Could be here, right enough. That's within 3. German reserve supply can be traced at the moment. Not adjacent to a Soviet unit. Oh, well, we'll maybe scoring there then. Yeah, doesn't look like he's got something there. That's a great result for us then, because not only is he not getting any beneficial combat tactic, we're losing this card. So we're delaying the deployment of the 2nd SS Panzer Corps reserves, which, yeah, I'll take. Right, so, well, I'll leave the remnant there just now. I can just move away a wee bit though, and we can zoom in a little bit. So 5 to 1 odds, 4 chip pools max, 1 chip pool minimum. So, I'm trying to make a space here. Now, I know I had tried to fiddle about drawing the chips, but I'm just going to do it like I'd done it before. I'll try and tell you what's on the back of the chip, and I'll just draw them and set them out. And the ones that are on the top will apply, and the ones that are underneath will not apply. And if there's just one row of them, it'll either be good or bad. So, and then I can explain to you, and they'll come out in that order. They'll be the ones that are drawn. So the one on the right will be first, and then as they go left, that's the order they'll have come out the cup in. Okay, but initially we want to draw 1, so I'll get the first one. Okay, there's the first chip. It's a good one. Attacker artillery. So we are getting artillery from the... Well, that's great then. Can we not just stop there and say goodbye to that guy? Generally, when you've got a guy surrounded with only one step... Yeah. Because he's going to have to retreat. He can only retreat into one of these 3 hexes. They're all in Soviet zone of control, so he's going to retreat, wherever one it might be, and take a step loss. I'm just going to look again at dispersal though, just to be extra sure. Yeah, so I just thought I'd double check the other rule books and the German Soul and the 2-player rules all go by the same, that a dispersed unit can't move, attack, or build an improved position, can't advance after combat, is not eligible for strategic relocation event. Oh, well, that was maybe only applicable to solo rules. A dispersed unit and any unit stacked with it may retreat only 1 hex if attacked. And then, if all defending in a combat, start a combat dispersed, combat tactics can be applied to the defenders. Subtract 1 hit from hits incurred by the attacker. Yeah, okay, so unless I've amended it for the rules, they've changed the rules, so all good. So yeah, we will stop drawing chits here. We'll just draw the 1 chit. We get a D1 result. This guy's got to retreat. He retreats and takes a step loss and is eliminated. Okay, so just double checking that remnant. That was where the guy was. Just looking over that row again. After resolving the combat, place a garrison marker in the lowest numbered empty position hex within 3 hexes of the attacked hex. So it's within 3 hexes of there. It needs to be an empty position, not adjacent to a Soviet unit, into which German reserve supply can be traced. So this is the only empty position within 3, and it's adjacent to a Soviet unit. So it's not going to go there, so it's not going to apply. And that was a very good result for us. Indeed. Okay. Right, well, let's move on to the next combat. There was something on my mind there though. What was it? Ah, yeah, I did mean to bring this up. What was it again? Yeah, I was... I know it's going back a bit. It's when I wanted to place... It's when we activated 3rd Corps. And it was the garrison, wasn't it? Yeah. We wanted to place this garrison. This guy was up here, but he had already activated. And I was looking for the lowest numbered hex within 3 of an active unit in the Corps. Now, this guy was in here, and these 3 units hadn't activated yet, hadn't made a move yet. So, and then I said, no, I'm talking rubbish, I'm not. This was further away. It was further away, wasn't it? Still within 3. Can't remember what it was now. Anyway, well, I'll tell you what my question was. It said that it had to be within 3 hexes of an active unit. Now these 3rd Corps units had been activated, right? So these were active, and this guy had had an action. He had made, he had done something. So I thought, well, is he still active? And I was about to actually post the question on BGG, and I thought, right, Grant, that sounds like a simple one, and let's just check and not be silly and ask questions that people are going to say, just read the rule book, it's right there. And yeah, I suppose that can frustrate a little. Well, again, it seems to be a bit that I'm looking at quite frequently here. German action terminology, which is 10.3 on pages 20 and 21. which might have been a nice thing to have had a wee printout of, rather than have to open the rulebook. I don't think it's on the player aids, but there's a wee bit on the player aids, is there not? Is there not? Yeah, I did. Oh, let's see. Going back to summary, no. I think there's a briefer version of it. Is it German action terms? It is. Oh well, there you go. It's in there. It is in there. It just doesn't have all the things that I could be talking rubbish. You know what? It's more detailed in the rulebook as it generally is. But it's got in the player aid and describes active unit. It's a German unit in activated group that has not yet performed an action. So when I was looking at this and doubting, is this an active unit? It's not, because it had an action. Right, okay. Oops. I'm wrecking things. Sorry, it was just, I know that was like nothing to do with what we're doing just now, but it was on my mind. Just sprung to mind there. Okay, right, let's get this other attack going then. So this guy's going to join in, obviously. And we're going to have 9, 12, 16 against 3. So we can't seem to get away from the 5-1 odds, which isn't terrible. That's right, 5-1, yeah. Starting to doubt myself there. Right, and chip pools are 1, 2 for that guy. 1 for that is 3, 4, 5, 6. And then he's still within the artillery barrage zone just. So we get 7 chip pools. So that is a large attack. We shall see if it hurts us or not. Okay. All good to go. Yeah, and yeah, I didn't want to play a combat tactic last time. But probably just have a glance. Yeah, no, I want to keep that card though. I want to keep that card. And the other 2 are artillery, so I can't play them anyway. Yeah, there's not a real need to play it. And well, I mean, he is in a town this time, so he's going to soak up a hit, remember. And yeah, right, so let's draw a combat tactic for him. It's 48th core card. Combat tactics 2+ air power. Oh, it's 2+. Right, if drawn during combat and not applied, return to deck and shuffle. Ah, yeah, okay, it's one of them. So I'm guessing that's going to happen, isn't it? If drawn during combat and not applied, return to deck and shuffle. Yeah, even the fact that it is 2+, so that is going back in the deck because it's not turn 2, and we're going to shuffle that up. And we get a result again, really, don't we? No combat tactic for the Germans. I think the first 3 attacks we had, they drew one that applied, so maybe we're due a bit of luck. Right. Okay, well, let's get down to this then. So we're looking for a nice result again. This time it's a minimum of 2 chip pools, and well, we generally need D4 to destroy a unit like that. Retreat, 2-step losses, but he's in a town, so we need D5, so it's quite a lot to ask for, but if we can just budge him out of the town, that would be good enough, I think. Right, I'll go and get the first 2 chits. Oh, great start. Had 6-1 on the front, priority, D2, but we're just outside that, but I'll take the 4-1. 5-1 was less than 3-1 on the back. So yeah, so D2, but that doesn't budge them. So I think we're going to draw all 7 here. Yeah. So 5 more chats incoming. Okay, there we go. Looks like we've got them. A couple of hits to ourselves. We do have what I wanted, D5. 2 flank attacks with 1 hex attacks on the back. Don't count because we're in the town. Well, he's in the town. So don't get that. I think this was 6-1 on the front. There was a couple of 6-1s that we had there, just missed out on. Yeah, that was a 6-1 as well for D2, just short of that. However, we get the large attack, and there's what Martin was mentioned, the fact that they're not as good as they were in Ardennes. A large attack would not have gave you an A1 result. 4-1 at the end there, another A1 result, so unfortunately 2 hits to us, but 5 hits to them, so like I say, 5 is what we wanted. Okay, so 5 hits to them, 2 to us. Let's say the first one taken for the town, that puts us down to 4, and then if we retreat twice, 1, 2, we've still got 2 hits to take, and he has to take them as step losses. So he's gone, so that's good. Yeah, unfortunately 2 hits to ourselves now. That's a point. I had to take a hit on these. I don't think any of these were big units though, were they? I probably dealt with this properly. I know you've got to take it on a... Yeah, because I went through a discussion of the fact it didn't stipulate you had to go take 1 hit from that stack, then 1 hit from this stack, and then you got to hit every stack first, didn't it? Yeah, they were all just 2-step units. But it does want to... There's a... Assigning hits. Assigning Soviet step loss to unit of your choice. So I can pick a unit of my choice. However, the first step loss must be to a 3-step unit or armoured unit, if any. And also, the fact it says I can select unit of my choice, I do have to, if assigning multiple step losses, no unit may receive a second step loss until all units have received 1 step loss in this combat. And like I just mentioned earlier, it doesn't stipulate this time that you have to take 1 from each attacking hex first. So they must have done away with that. So we've got to take in a large unit or an armoured unit. And all these 3 stacks attacked. So I guess we either take it on this guy. Oh right, of course they've got... I'm looking for the back side, but... So 35G or 57G, just to make sure they just dropped to 3. Yeah, it's probably better taking it on them rather than the armoured units, I would think. Okay, I think I'm going to take it on... Oh, we've got 2 hits to take, haven't we? Oh, ouch. Yeah, that's annoying. Right, I'm going to take 1 from this guy. Well, I'm trying to flip him over again. Right, we're going to get his replacement, 57G. So... I'll just put that in its place, I suppose it matters. Right, so he's taking a hit, and that's just his replacement counter now. He's 2 steps and drops to 1 and whatever. And then I'm tempted to take it on this guy actually, because you get an extra chip pool from that, whereas reducing that guy to 1, I still get 1 chip pool from him, you know. And obviously this guy's a 5. Oh, he drops to a 3, well I'm not touching him then. I think I'm going to take it off of this guy, because he only goes down from a 3 strength to a 2. Ooh, he loses his armour, mind you. He only becomes mechanised infantry. I think I'd just like to keep that guy for the chip pools, but I don't know if that's clever or not. Maybe it's not. Let me think on that just a second. Yeah, I'm not sure. I mean, the other good thing is, if I was to take it on this, he's going to be our only 1-step unit. Now, when we go to... is there a replacement on the player raids? Don't think so. Oh, aye, there is. Got it all covered. These player raids are great, really, aren't they? They were great in Ardennes as well, admittedly. But they do seem to have everything seems to be improved, isn't it? That's how I feel anyway. So it's good. So yeah, we've got to wait till turn 3 before we can assign replacements. So, but you've got to among Soviet units in a given priority, apply to unit of your choice. Among German units, given priority, apply to unit of the select. Yeah. So flip a supply one-step non-mech unit on map to two-step side. So that's a priority. So the first one would be I would have to select an infantry unit first, a non-mechanized unit. But however, if there's no non-mechanized units, I could transfer an unlimited one-step non-mech unit to the reserve box. So that's an unlimited unit. Well, I've not got anything unlimited yet. It's not to say I might not have come turn 3 when I want to replace it. But then priority number 3 is flip a supplied one-step mech unit. So that would allow me to, at the moment, if I was able to, that would allow me to target that guy to replace him. Whereas if I flip that, then, well, if I replace that with his counter, I wouldn't have that option. I don't know. It does mean, like I say, this doesn't bring armour, and it reduces it to that nasty 2 strength that I was talking about. That nasty action that the Germans get with the Soviet exposed. Soviet exposed. It's not just infantry, is it? Might be. Can't remember. Come on, Grant, make your mind up. Yeah, I was about to change my mind, but then realised that there's no way of getting this unit back to 3 steps again, because you can't replace a 2-step unit, and a 3-step unit for. Well, you wouldn't be able to, but you can't replace a 2-step unit to a 3-step unit. So once he drops, that's him for the rest of the game. Whereas there is a chance of getting this guy back, you know. So I think I'm going to go with that. Yeah, I think I'm going to go with that. So that was the 5 German hits taken care of. We eliminated the unit, and that was the 2 hits for us taken care of. So now we get to advance after combat, which is good. There's a point. How does that affect that garrison? Is it possible I can't advance? Okay, let's have a look, see if there's anything about that. Okay, I'm not sure. The only thing, it says during a Soviet activation command, a Soviet unit must stop its movement or advance upon entering a hex adjacent to a garrison. Okay. Right. My guess is I can still advance. The unfortunate part of that is, though, I can definitely advance with this guy. There's not an issue there. However, I'm not going to be able to have a second hex advance because I've got to stop. And the way that's worded, I feel like I can still advance with these guys if I want. So, but I've got to stop. I'm not going to get a 2 hex advance. And, well, I don't want to advance with that guy anyway. That's a bit of a pity. Well, does it matter really? As long as I'm there. And then we activate these guys again, the German garrison goes away. And the one good thing about all that, if you like, is I'm going to advance this into here. And, well, what I'm going to get a Soviet control marker. And oh, well, that's a point. Remember I said that when you take a town, you can't then advance anyway. However, the other units You know, if that garrison wasn't there, I would advance the infantry into there, and then I'd advance the 2 mech units into there, and probably into there as a second hex. But the garrison's stopping that anyway. So I'm going to move all 3 of them into there. And there's 5 steps, 3 units. And the reason being is, we've got to remember, we've got the card that activates 2 stacks. So that's a stack of 3 units, and then we've got this stack of 2 units that have sort of that's dropped back a bit, that can now move up, and hopefully we can get around this guy next activation. Yeah, okay. I like it. Okay, so that's our impulse. That's all that dealt with. That was mobile group Popov. They've been activated. Put the marker up there. They cannot activate next turn. Well, I'll try and just show that underneath these, the wee purple band of that first guards units. And then we will move on. Oh, I never give myself a victory point. We'll need to do that. So we're up to 4. And that's our impulse over. Just draw our card back up to 5. Like I say, we only had 3 cards left in the deck. So that's down to 2 now. And we get their tank army again. Ooh. That's activate them all. Oh, that's nice. Event Partisan Uprising. What does that do? Although I think I want to activate them. Partisan Uprisings. Place disperse markers on all German units in 3 town and city hexes. Ew. That's quite nice. Just thinking about our attack here. If that was dispersed, well, we just looked over what disperse was, didn't we? Is it on the player aid somewhere? Disperse. Can't move, attack, advance, or receive IP. If all defending units start attack, disperse, combat tactics can't be applied, and subtract 1 hit incurred by the attacker. And unit stack can retreat only 1 hex. Well, that's something to think about, although it's hard to give up the whole moving of the 3rd tank army again, I think. Because we could actually grab another victory point there. Not able to get this guy surrounded like we had planned. Oh, it was this guy we were trying to surround, wasn't it? Well, actually we can get him surrounded. So there's that. Yeah, it's going to be a hard one to give up that, I think, by using that event. So, although that's quite a nice event. Right, okay, let's have a pause there, just to free up some space, etc. And but I'm coming straight back with a German impulse. But I'll just get that copied across on the computer. So I'll be back shortly. Okay, cheers. Hi all. Right, I'm not sure if this might be the end of part 5, or it might be the beginning of part 6. It's dependent on what this German impulse is, because I've got about 50 odd minutes worth. So I figured as long as this wasn't going to take too long, I can probably add it on to the end. So let's just get moving on and see what is. Right, we've got 3rd Corps again. We not had them twice. Yeah, we had them twice in the trot. So we had the Core KG card last time, we had the Core card. That's another Core card. Okay. Well, that's the guys that down the... Well, actually, that's one of the guys we just took out, wasn't it? Yeah. So that's quite good, to get him out of the way before he's maybe going to do something. Right, well, this has got some events on it, isn't it? And so deploy all 3rd Corps reserves. Well, we do have one. Are we not in the same position, though? Well, we did get this up here. Hang on. Because this is the army area, so it needs to be over this side. And we need to have Soviet unit proximate. The right play rate. Only for reserves. Where are you, crap? There we are. Yeah, Soviet unit proximate to the hex. It needs to be in the reserve unit's army area, so it needs to be from this line that way. Now, we did get these guys moved. Now, you do check for proximity. If I'm adjacent to a garrison, then I can check. I remember that came up in Enemy Action Ardennes. It could become a bit of a question about, because when we, if we were to activate pop-off units again, this garrison goes away. So as long as I'm adjacent to it, I think it maybe tells you here. So the player aid, it's on the same page. So the player aid. During activation or event, unit can't trace proximity through hex occupied by or adjacent to garrison unless any Soviet unit is already adjacent to the garrison. There we go. So yeah, we can actually. The thing is, no, we can't go in here because of this zone of control. So we need to go in this forest first. What we got, 6 movement or 4 for an infantry, but that's 5 movement for the mech, isn't it? And then he wouldn't be able to cross the river. And even for the infantry, it's... Sorry, I'm saying it's 5 for the mech. What am I talking about? It's 3 for the mech. I think I'm talking about the river before I've reached it. It'd be 3 to move into there. Another 2 to cross... No, another 3 to cross the river, wouldn't it? Was it 2 plus the clear hex? And for the infantry, it'd be 2 to move in there and another 2 to cross. Yeah, it's just the same. And that's as far as we can get. Yeah. So, yeah, no reserve again, because we can't... There's not a Soviet unit proximate to anything across that side. Yeah. Pretty sure that's right. Okay, so what is these other things on this card? Well, turn 1, event, 1st Panzer Army delaying force. It's an event. Okay. Delaying force. In the indicated German army area, which is 1st Panzer Army, place a okay. This is a thing where there was a bit of there's talk about detachments in certain places. I heard some comments on BGG about it. Which detachments were used in Enemy Action Ardennes, but they're not in the Enemy Action Kharkov. It's garrisons. So I think anytime you do see the word detachment, it means garrison. Okay. So place a garrison in the empty position hex that is in German reserve supply, and a VP hex or within 5 hexes of a German unit, and to which the Soviet unit is proximate but not adjacent. Well, that's not going to happen again. If we can't place the reserve, we cannot do the delaying force. Is that right? Yeah, because a Soviet unit needs to be proximate, and it needs to be in an empty position hex. And all the things need to apply. Yeah, not happening. So next action is only from turn 3 onwards, and next action is activate all units in 3rd Corps. Right. Well, we should be able to do that. What they will do, I'm not sure, but I mean, we've got the one here with the IP, and then we've got the 2 here, and then obviously we eliminated that other guy, which, like I say, was quite nice timing. I'm not sure. Okay, so let's look and see if we can get any activation for them. If behind Soviet lines, nope. To move to empty a garrison VPX to which Soviet unit is proximate. Nope. I mean, yeah, they can't get around there, can they? I mean, that's a garrison hex, but I'm not sure no, they can't get around there. If in 4th Panzer Army or Corps route, well, that's not the case. If in danger of surround, move to position of hex, not in danger of surround. I don't think so, because like we've said, I mean, the best I can get is move 3, 6 into there. No, that's maybe just off camera. 3, 6, that's as far as I can get in. I mean, we can just go straight across the bridge, but we need to stop, but can't surround. And again, yeah, not in danger of surround, no. So we're going to draw an action card then. Conduct action if situation applies. Okay. Let's do that then. Escape the pocket. So a lot of text there. Oops, so daisies. Sorry. Camera too loose. There's a lot of text on this, let's say. So the situation is active units surrounded or in danger of surround, not in a city or German map edge hex and adjacent to a hex in German supply. No, it's not happening, is it? We've already checked if they were in danger surround. That was a previous step, wasn't it? If in danger surround. And they're not surrounded either. So, yeah, it's not going to apply. So if that doesn't apply, we discard that and draw another one, don't we? That's step 6 is no action conducted on step 5. Draw another action card. So we will do that. Fighting withdrawal. Situation, active unit surrounded and adjacent to a hex in German supply or in which the unit would not be surrounded. Well, there's none of them that are surrounded. So again, we're not going to do that. Okay. So then move on to step 7, which is... Step 7 is move to a hex that removes dangerous sound from another German unit. No. Step 8, if Soviet unit proximate to empty or garrison German city hex, move to hex that prevents that Soviet proximity. No. 9, if in non-VP hex and stacked with or adjacent to other German unit. If in non-VP hex and stacked with or adjacent to other German unit, move to empty position hex not adjacent to any German unit and to which Soviet unit proximate. If in non-VP hex and stacked with, well, these guys are in a VP hex, so we don't need to look at them. And this is in a non-VP hex. And it's not stacked with or adjacent to another German unit anyway. So I don't need to look any further than that. So step 10, place an IP on unit if eligible and Soviet unit proximate. Well, this guy already built an IP, this guy can't because he's in a town. And then step 11, remove disperse marker from unit. So we're not doing that. We're not getting anything out of this card at all. Because we move on and it's just from 5 onwards, turn 5 onwards, air interdiction event. So we didn't get anything out of that card, so that means we're going to have to discard that card and draw another. Okay, I suppose I only did 10 minutes here, so we'll draw the card and see. If there's a lot to this, so I might have to just start. Right. So 48 Panzer Corps again. With that quite recently as well. Deploy all core reserves, there's none. 3+, well, we're not on 3. Next command is activate all units in 48th Panzer Corps. Right, well, we should definitely get something out of this one, I would think. So we've got 3 units from 48th. These were the ones that were involved in our blunder, but yeah, I just need to move on from that. So, well, let's go. If behind Soviet lines, no. Step 2, move to empty our garrison VPX with Soviet unit proximate. Okay, let's move the card out of the way. Move to empty our garrison VP hex. I mean, this is a hex we're obviously proximate to, but I don't think they can get around there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Oh, he's only 1 short. That's nice. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Oh, he can make it. I went round the road. Damn it. I'm forgetting there's that many clear hexes in this on the map, you know, in the terrain. Don't really need to stick to the roads a lot of the time. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. He can reach here. And that is so I'll move to an enter garrison VPX with Soviet units proximate, and obviously I am proximate to that. I'm saying obviously because it's 4 to move into there and then R1. Yeah, so I am proximate. It could possibly go 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, you could go around as well. So if city move may end in dangerous round, it's not a city. And if starting a VP hex must have a greater VP hex. Oh, how are we doing this? In ascending order. Actually, yeah, we're looking at this guy first. I don't think he can make it though, can he? Because this guy was... Yeah, no, he can't. He definitely can't. So it is Unit 2, and he's not in a VP hex. So as long as there's no restrictions being broken, 10.11. Don't cause Kharkov to become empty. Don't cause Soviet proximity to an empty or garrison German city hex. No. Don't cause unit in same corps to be put in dangerous round unless that unit is active and not yet acted. Well, these are active and not yet acted, so we don't even need to check if they're in dangerous round. And then if this is not in dangerous round, which it is not, don't end move in a non-city hex in dangerous round unless allowed by the action. So if we had him in here, is there a risk? That would be 1 and then 4 across. So I could have one of the units there. 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, he is in dangerous round. Just shows you he's not going to take this move. If not in dangerous round, don't end move in a non-city hex. That's a town, not a city. In dangerous round, unless allowed by the action. And the action was not allowing that. It doesn't say it anyway. Well, it says if city move may end in dangerous round, and well, obviously states that in 10.11 as well. I'll allow it in a city, but that's a town. Oh, that's interesting then. He's not going to go, but that's twice now we've seen victory point towns being ignored and because of dangerous round. So they obviously found that was a big part of the previous game, because I'm pretty sure that, I mean, I know sometimes it did come into it, but it doesn't seem to be as much. So that's pretty interesting, yeah, okay. Right, this is turning into a bit of an episode then. So maybe I should just fire up that other part and then we'll just, I could just get it going at least. Well, hang on. Let's see. We might be able to finish this quicker than you think. So if in 4th Panzer Army and in Soviet artillery zone, well, none of them are now. They're all out the artillery zone. 4. If in dangerous round, move to a hex not in dangerous round. So send an order again. He's not in dangerous round. He's maybe in dangerous round. Hang on. Can I get something in here? I wouldn't have thought so. 1, 2, 3, 4. It's 7. It's 7 to cross into there. That other unit didn't have 7 movement, did it? No, 6. Because it's 1, 2, and it's 2 to move into Baroka, and there's 4. And then it's 2 to cross this river for mech units, and then 1 for the clear hex. So he can't reach there. He could reach here. I don't think that helps. No, he would have needed to reach here to surround this guy. Is that right? Yeah. 1, 2, 3. Yeah. He's not in dangerous round. Not seeing it. This guy is though, isn't he? Yeah, because this could go 1, 2, and that could go 1. So he's in dangerous round. Move to position hex, not in dangerous surround. Prefer A, removes danger of surround from another German unit. Well, we've already decided none of them are in danger. Mind you, it says another German unit, so it could take this into account. I don't think he's in danger either, though, is he? No, he might have been if this garrison hadn't been here, because this infantry unit, if that garrison wasn't there, also it could go 1, 2, 3, 4, and then these guys could go in there. But the garrison's going to stop that, because as soon as you move adjacent to a garrison, you've got to stop. So, yeah, where were we? We're wanting to move this guy, and that was the preference 1, wasn't it? Yeah. So, and then B, in units army area. Well, their army area is where? Actually, he's just inside his army area, because it goes between here and the next line along. It's further along. So he's going to move to a position inside that. If outside units army area, closer to area, and then an empty hex, and then the lowest position. So he's wanting an empty hex. Is that guy in a position? No. He's not going to come back in here. 1, and then another 5 to cross into there. I think that's a potential, actually. I think he's still in dangerous surround there, though, isn't he? Because these guys can go in there, and this guy could just go out and in. Yeah. So 1, 2, 3 up to here. Is that any good? Well, it probably is. We decided this guy wasn't in dangerous round, so you think that might be okay. You just want to default to lowest position though. So 1, 2, 3. That's 7 movement to go into there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That's 42. That was 46. That's 42. However, he's now away outside his army area. So, looking at the preferences again, remove danger sound. Right, that's not happening. B is in unit's army area. So, he's not going to move outside his army area. He's wanting an empty hex in the lowest position in his army area. I think it could be 46. We said 40 wasn't any good, yeah. I mean, I wouldn't have thought coming back the way here. Sure, that's not going to be... No, he's going to be in dangerous around down there. I think here then. Yeah, so this was in ascending order, and we decided that 1 wasn't in dangerous round, 2 wasn't in dangerous round. Yeah, so I'm going to move him up to there. That's his lowest position hex. It's not in dangerous round, in his army area, it's empty. Yeah, let's go with that. So none of the 2 applied, so we're going to draw an action card. Moving on to step 5 to draw an action card. So let's see what we get. Deploy garrison. So place 1 garrison in an empty position hex meeting all these criteria. So within 3 hexes of a supplied active German unit to which a Soviet unit is proximate but not adjacent. Okay. Here's a possibility, I think. That's within 3 hexes. Soviet unit is proximate. And it's not adjacent to Soviet unit, whereas this one is adjacent. This one's adjacent, this one's adjacent. What's the other criteria? German reserve supply. German reserve supply. Yes, he would. This would be in German reserve supply. And if there's tiebreakers, remove dangerous round from German unit. Well, don't think that's the case. Let's see, I think this guy's okay. Nothing can come up this side because of the garrison. Hang on, here's another hex. No, because that's not proximate to... Soviet unit's not proximate to that. It is to that. It is to that and that, but that's not within 3. It's got to be within 3 of these 2 active German units. Yeah, so it's only these 2. Remember, this guy's not active anymore because he's done his thing. Don't think there's anything else up there. Well, you've got X41 here, position X41, but Soviet unit not proximate to that. No, because this guy's moved up here. I mean, before he moved there, it was possible actually. So I think it's going here. So place 1 garrison. Yeah, that's annoying. Okay. So that's that card done its thing. Now that means we don't draw another card. So we move on to step 7. We've still got 2 units that haven't done anything. 7 is move to a hex that removes dangerous sound from another German unit. No. Oh, hang on, just spotted. No, that's fine. I was just looking down here and thought these guys were in dangerous surround, but because of that garrison, I can only move in. I can't move around. So they're not in dangerous surround. The sun coming in the window again. Okay. So we can't remove dangerous surround from any units. Even the unit in Kharkov is fine. One, it's not. You're not getting up round about him. No, stop, Grant, stop. So step 8. If Soviet unit proximate to empty or garrison German city hex. No. If in non-VP hex and stacked with. Right, this is the one that's a wee bit hard to get your head around. It's descending order, but hang on, this guy is in a VP hex. So he's not going to count anyway. He is not in a VP hex, however, if in non-VP hex and stacked with or adjacent to another German unit, which he is, move to an empty position hex not adjacent to any German unit and to which Soviet unit proximate. Just while I move on to that, I move this guy up here. From where exactly? I think he was in here, wasn't he? Just I'm wondering about breaking restrictions, obviously. I never looked at that. I like to just double check that. Don't cause unit in the same court to be put in danger. Well, none of the other guys had activated yet. I'd acted yet, should I say. If not a dangerous round, don't end in dangerous round. I think I looked at that. Maybe I did look at the restrictions, just never said it in. Okay. So this guy is applicable for step 9, but can he go anywhere? Move to an empty position hex not adjacent to any German unit to which Soviet unit proximate. Not adjacent to... he could move to here. I think that's going to be his only option, actually. Well, apart from coming back down to these, but I think the restrictions are going to kick in there, aren't they? If not in dangerous round, don't end move in non-city hex in dangerous round. So that would be in dangerous round. That would maybe not be. Don't think it would, actually. So, and that wouldn't be. I think that's his two possibles because Soviet units are proximate to both the hexes. And I don't think I'd be breaking restrictions there. No. Just wonder if coming down here would open anything up to bother these guys. No, I don't think it would. No, because also there's garrisons here as well, which stops the units from coming through. Okay, well I think that's two possibilities. So the preference is not in dangerous round. No, okay. Well, yeah, I was looking at that because that's a restriction. So anyway, and B would be lowest position. That's 27. That's going to be water, isn't it? Is that guy going to come down there? That seems odd. That seems odd, doesn't it? If in non-VP hex, stacked with or adjacent to other German unit. Yep. Move to empty position hex, not adjacent to any German unit. Yep. And to which Soviet unit is proximate. Prefer not in dangerous surround. Lowest position number. I think he's going. So let's check restrictions. Don't leave Kharkov empty. Right, yeah. Don't cause Soviet proximity empty or garrison German city. No, it's a tough one to kill. Don't cause units in same core to be put in dangerous surround. Unless that unit is active and not yet acted. That could be a stumper because... No, maybe not. No, we if he moves away down here, we can't surround that guy. No, we can't. So that's fine. And the other guy's fine also. Yeah, and then if not in dangerous round, don't end move in non-city hex in dangerous round. Right. This is in dangerous round, isn't it? I'm talking a lot of nonsense. Yes, I am. Because this guy just goes 1, 2, and then this guy goes 1, and then this guy's surrounded. So stop talking nonsense, man. Right. That's all. Sorry, it seemed a bit odd. I think he maybe goes to the other one though. Yeah, I don't see a problem with that, and it's 5 movement points to move across there. Makes a little bit more sense. Moving into the woods. Not feeling 100% comfortable with it, but I'm going to take it on. Yeah, I think it's right, but something just bothering me a little. Yeah, and I know why. That is dangerous around, Grant. You're at it again. I mean, this guy just drops into the forest here, and this guy just goes out and in, and he's surrounded, so... so he was here, wasn't he? Yeah, come on, Grant. Get with it. He maybe doesn't have a move then, after all that. I don't think he does. No. No, I'm going with no. I'm sticking with no. Right, so that was 9. So 10, place IP on unit if eligible and Soviet unit proximate. In descending order, yeah, this guy will take an IP. And we'll just use a little blue cube and I'll put an IP marker underneath them. Soviet unit is proximate to him. Yeah. And this guy cannot build an IPs in a town. So last step, remove disperse marker from unit. Right. Okay. I think that's it. So that went 36 minutes after all that, but I might still add it. I think it was only 50 minutes. It'll be longer, but It's nicer to finish with a German impulse, I think. So I know where I'm at when I start again. Right, okay, I'll get away for now and get this uploaded, and I'll be back soon. Okay, cheers.